Hi, Michael. Hi, Tammy. Hey, congratulations to your series of films. The what was it? Animal Family Films, right?
That's it. Yep. A bunch of two crazy people.
Hey, so tell me when did all of this started? Because three films is one film is hard to tackle, but three films that's quite an undertaking.
It's funny, in film school, they tell you three rules. One, never work in water. Two, never work with children. And three, at all costs, don't work with animals. And yet we did all three in our film. So we're crazy. So the idea came one day. I had done with Tammy, we had done a movie called A Tiger's Tale, and it was extremely successful. So I had come to Tammy and said, hey, if we could do family entertainment, which is truly the hidden gem, in my opinion, of what people don't like to do, we could really make an impact with our love for animals and to really do something positive. And I was watching, we were going to watch a movie. I have four kids, and me and my wife and my youngest daughter and my youngest son were going to watch something on Netflix, but we couldn't decide because Kobe had one idea of what he wanted. Willow had an idea, what she wanted to watch, and me and Cheryl, my wife, didn't care. And it came to me, if we can make films that kind of incorporated Power Little Girls to do some fun activities and use live animals, we could do something. And that's where the idea had come from. So I reached right out to Tammy again, and said, Tammy, I got this great idea. You're going to think I'm crazy, but, and she went for it, her and her partner, Joe Camp. And it just has been a blessing.
Tammy, tell me about these animals. Where are they at and how you train them?
So we have a 60-acre ranch in San Bernardino, and we train animals for movies and television. So when Michael came up with this idea, it was like perfect for us, because instead of having to wait for phone calls for our animals, we had them already trained and ready to go, and so we were just able to create material for them to do.
And there they are in the background.
Yeah, they're all chiming in. The birds set them off. They all want to be in here. I've locked them out so that they're not all over me. But yeah, they're playing their part out there.
So, Michael, when you wrote the stories for the three films, did you have specific animals in mind when you wanted to use in your films? Because all three stories are remarkably still different.
I had an idea roughly with the Toby Adventures. I knew I wanted it to be a baby Bengal tiger. That idea came from successfully Joe and Tammy had done Homeward Bound with the dog, and that's very successful. But I said to Tammy, what kids dream about, in my opinion, are like going on adventures with, tigers and bears or killer whales. And so I said to her, could you get and train a baby Bengal tiger? And they had done it on A Tiger's Tale, but those tigers had gotten bigger. So she had said, hey, I think we have a baby white Bengal tiger. And it just was like, man, that would be brilliant. And then with Jimmy's Jungle, they had this amazing white lion baby cub, and she had it. So I wrote the story around, because they were training this baby lion, and it was just inspiring to see how they interacted with it. And I go, if we could put a little girl as the trainer of that white lion, oh my God, this would be a cool story. And Tammy and Joe made it happen. So yeah, I kind of always start my movies with, hey, Tammy, what do you have that would be amazing? And Tammy and Joe have always come up with these just incredible. If you think of all the animals that were in the two Toby movies, I can't imagine anybody would have been able to tackle that movie but Joe and Tammy. So, they are phenomenal trainers, just incredible.
Tammy, are tigers and lions that easy to train to be in front of the cameras?
I mean, it's a process that we start when they're babies, and we get them used to everything. You know, introduce them to new people, the cameras, the equipment, and they really adapt to it very well. I mean, each animal has their own personality, so every one of them is different. Zuri, the little lion that was in Jimmy's jungle, was just so sweet and nice with everybody, loved everyone. Where Toby had the personality that he has in the movies. You know, he's adventurous. He wants to get out there and see everything. And so we kind of like the movies were written for their personalities.
Wow. And so which animals did you use in the film that was actually hard to have them focus in front of the cameras?
I would say
Well, I think the raccoons and
yes.
and a little bit, but the raccoons mostly. I may have to go out and see if they'll go outside. I may have to put my dogs out because they're all wanting to chime in with the birds.
Well, while Tammy's moving that, the raccoon
Just a sec.
was
I'll be
definitely
right back.
the raccoon was definitely the challenge because they're very curious. So their focus is on everything that's around them. So they're focused on grapes. That's what their reward or Cheerios or things. So, but they're always looking for the grape. So they would never stand still. The other animals, Tammy and Joe, could get them to stay on their marks, but the raccoon, it is phenomenal to see the amount of work that looks very natural in the movie. What it really truly took to get that raccoon to stay there is you have to let the camera roll. As a director, you have to not say, well, this isn't working, cut, why isn't this working? You let the camera keep going, and in my head I know what I need that raccoon to do, and I just wait until it does it. And so Tammy and Joe and James, the other trainer, we're just phenomenal on staying the course. And so the raccoon is definitely was the one you just go, damn, why won't that thing do that? So
they just don't like to hold still.
Yeah,
have to be busy and doing something.
So when you actually film off the property, is that just the wilderness around the ranch, or do you actually went on to different other locations?
We went to different locations. A good chunk of the movie are shot. Joe and Tammy, I believe it's a 40-acre ranch, and then around them are the San Bernardino Mountains. So we would get permits to move to like the river in different places, but we tried to stay within Joe and Tammy's compound. But no, we had to leave. The park scenes was a major, a real park. So we would get permits to take the animals to wherever we needed them to go. But I'd say, what do you think, Tammy? 60% of the movie was shot in the San Bernardino Mountains.
Yes. Except, and then Toby Goes to Camp was shot at a camp. So
yes, that's correct.
That was the one that was different.
Yeah, that we actually were blessed at the Salvation Army, who had a huge complex in Malibu. They loved the idea of doing a family film, and they was just amazing. They gave us carte blanche of their entire facility. And that for Toby Goes to Camp, we shot 90% of that. The only part is when the animals, hey, we're going on an adventure, and then when they were explaining what a great adventure it was, that was the only 2 times we were on the ranch. So every time Tammy and Joe had to, they set up a facility at the Salvation Army to have the animals, and when they weren't working, they brought them back to the compound, to their compound.
Hey, Tammy, do all your animals get along with each other truthfully, or you have to like separate them sometimes? Because I watched the scene with the wolves, and it looks like they wanted to go after that raccoon.
Oh, we lost her. I'll answer that. They were not together. Through VFX is how we were able to put the animals together. So the two coyotes could be together, but they could never be in front of the other animals. The tiger and the dog were always together. Tammy and Joe raised those animals, the dog and the tiger together. So you do that to give the tiger confidence to be out and around. So the tiger sees that, hey, the dog is calm, so I'm calm. So they were always together. And then all the animals were put in CG. So we would do plate shots of every animal. So I would have to draw on my screen wedges and say, okay, the two coyotes have to be in this wedge, the raccoons on this wedge, and then the tiger and the dog are on this wedge. And you constantly had to make sure, hey, this performance, Tammy, back them up, and they're going too far, and we would have to keep doing it. But when it's all stitched together, you think, wow, oh my God, these animals are all together. How did they do that? They were never together. They would never, because they're still, they would say, hey, what's that? I want to go play with that. And so that would be a disaster for us.
Well,
watch my internet for a minute. I hear that Michael explained that perfectly.
yeah. We were just talking about whether all your animals get along with each other, and that's what he was talking about. Yeah.
Right. Couple of them at a time.
Yeah.
So the tiger and the dog are best friends at the ranch? Yes.
They well, as they get older, we raise the tigers with dogs and the lion with the dog. As they get older and become more independent and bigger, then we'll separate them, and they still see each other a little bit, but it's kind of we don't want to have a situation where the tiger starts to play with the dog and is a little bit, now he's 500 pounds, so he can't really, one swat of the paw could hurt her.
Yeah, was talking with Michael before. I didn't know that you could train coyotes. That's quite a feat.
Actually, this is true. Tammy is one of the world premier trainers of coyotes. It's not a common animal because it's very skittish, and what they are as a wild animal. Tammy is this is true. She is renowned for this. I believe she owns 6 coyotes, and they work all the time for her.
Yeah, they do. They're very very intelligent animals, very territorial, but when you take them out of their territory, then they're very intimidated. So, you just have to know their temperament and gain their trust. I mean, my coyotes trust me wherever I take them. They just look to me for for confidence.
Wow. And Tammy, are all of your animals kids friendly? Because in all these films, the kids seem to interact with these animals pretty well.
Right. Yeah. Most of them are all, what you saw we didn't put the animals in with the kids CGI wise. They were all actually in there, real kids, real animals, doing their things. So yeah, they all loved the kids, and we had really good kids working with them too. They were very good with animals. We made sure when we were casting that they liked animals and they had been around them. And then we also did some prep work with them, brought them out to the ranch, let them get used to them before we started filming, and introduced them all. And they became friends, spent several days with the ones that they were going to be working closest with.
Wow. And Michael, two of your 3 films, you actually have voiceovers, as part of the stories. Why did you went that direction rather than having like all 3? Why did you go with like 2 of the 3 films like that?
Jimmy's Jungle was something that I had actually wrote as in my interest in a relationship between a grandparent and a grandson or daughter. And I was interested in that. So my focus was really more of the relationship between a new generation and an old generation, which is something I've always been, because that's the history of your past. So it was never the intent. The animals were more of I used to be in Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus, and I was blown away by the relationship with the generations of working with animals, and from Gunther Gable Williams and then his son and the different people. And that's where the idea was like, this is amazing. Jimmy had a fancy of being a tiger trainer, which came from the circus. And then Aurora being, hey, this is her lifestyle, being around all these animals, I thought would be fascinating. So that's why when I came to Tammy, she had the whole array of different animals, was to kind of fit that mold of, wow, this little girl, what an amazing life that she could interact with these animals. To me, is why I went that direction. And then because of Tammy and Joe doing Homeward Bound, it was just, as I started to say earlier, that was a hugely successful movie. And what I wanted to do was change the idea of saying, hey, I'm going to make it a baby Bengal tiger going on this adventure. And then to allow them to talk, so they can have the audience would have the experience of, hey, these emotions that the animals are being separated from its mother. I want to go home, which I believe animals would have that. And I was like, hey, this is a cool story. But to be able to tell that story, I wanted them to be able to talk to each other so you could understand where they were coming from, the emotions of, hey, being separated. Hey, I want to go back to the ranch. I want to go back and see, the keepers and stuff. I thought that was an amazing opportunity. So that's why I did that.
Excellent.
Cool.
Well, after getting these three films out of the way, are you planning for some more, animal family films?
Oh, absolutely. Me and Tammy talk about every other day about what we're doing next. We got several huge ideas that we've written 2 scripts so far. We're just right now kind of waiting to see, what animal, we're talking about doing some elephants. We're talking about some baby panda bears. Tammy's got a lot of exciting things that she's like, hey, I think this can happen. We're talking about an orangutan, a sign languaging orangutan, which is just mind blowing, which is a real animal that really can do it. So we are planning our next 3 films already.
Wow. And Tammy, I'm going to give you the last question. How do you sleep with all these animals around? Or when do you sleep? I mean, this must be crazy.
You know what? I mean, they're very good about, they're active with me all day. So when I'm ready to go to bed, they're ready to go to bed. I learned a long time ago, it's like, keep them up and going so that they're not ready to go whenever I'm ready to go to sleep. They're not ready to keep on going. So we just keep them active during the day.
When they cast Wonder Woman, they got it wrong. They should have hired Tammy, because this girl, honestly, if you really truly think about it, she, they have to eat in the morning, and then they're training and having human interaction during the afternoon, and then she has to feed them again at night. And so if you really think about her frame, I don't know when she gets to sleep. It is truly phenomenal. People should know, holy moly, her love and dedication to these animals is unbelievable. It's truly unbelievable. And I had the greatest admiration for her. I mean, I don't sleep barely at all, but I don't know when she sleeps. It still has a life. It's amazing.
Well, I think this is terrific. I think more of these family-friendly films should be on the market. So, hey, thank you very much for this conversation. And real fast, where can we find these films right now?
We're available. The films are on iTunes, Apple TV, Amazon, Fandango, and then I believe in demand.
Excellent. Well, hey, congratulations to the both of you. And I can't wait till the next 3 films so we could actually talk about this again.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. You have a wonderful day.